Alright guys, so first pistol we gotta do is the 9mm PM, and we're gonna do the 3 kills without dying 10 times challenge. So let's go. Alright, there we go. That's the first one done. And it's only popping up on the side. That is great. Alright, next up on our list we have the Greg Hover. Same challenge, let's go. There we go, that's diamond done. And obviously, you know, it's not going to pop up on the top of the screen because this thing's broken as fuck, so there you go, it's done, so on to the next one, I guess. Okay, the next pistol we got to do is the GS45. Oh, there we go. Thank God for that. Let's go. And here we have finally got the Strider .22. Let's get this shit over and done with. There we go. Oh my goodness, I've been doing that for ages. No lie about it. Anyway, that's all of them done, so now let's get to the video. So as you can see guys from the intro, we have now got diamond on the pistols in Black Ops 6 multiplayer, which leaves us with just the SMGs now, and then we will be on our way to doing Dark Spine and Dark Matter. So, you know, if you guys are getting fed up of seeing all these diamond videos, don't worry. They're gonna be over pretty soon. Pistols, guys, I have to say, these were not a very fun class to do, but we did get them done, needless to say, and there are some tips I can give you to obviously ease the difficulty of doing these classes, and, you know, I'm gonna do that in these videos as I always do. So, let's get straight into it and explain just the challenges for the pistols. We're going to break down which ones I think are best to worst in a ranking towards the end. First, let's start off with the challenge we get for every single gun, every single pistol, and it's the military camos, which ask you to do 100 headshots. Now, headshots, obviously I normally say put an optic on these things to ease the chances of you hitting the head. Now, you can still do that if you really want to with the pistols, but I really wouldn't advise it, because with the pistols, right, most of the optics are going to be way too big and too stocky to stick on a small ass gun, and you're not going to want to pull that thing out. It's going to actually make it more distracting to aim down some sort of optic with a pistol. Now, obviously, if you go for a reflex, that's fine. They're probably not going to be as bad, but generally speaking, I don't think it's awfully going to help, like, a lot, especially if you're in faster paced game modes. So what I actually did for this is just typically, it sounds really generic advice, but I actually aimed higher than I usually do. So normally in a gunfight, you have a habit of pulling the gun up to kind of your, I guess, mid-level, but what you want to do is actually pull it up more to your eye level. So if you're in game and you have a habit of kind of aiming straight towards the chest or neck, and you know that that's the habit that you have, which I often have, you want to aim slightly higher than that. So tell yourself consciously going into each gunfight to aim slightly higher than usual. And 9 times out of 10, you will actually find yourself kind of going extra high to compensate, and you actually go for more of like an eye level shot, which actually goes straight up to the head and usually hits headshots. I also found as well that whilst it's not preferable because everyone else is running around, you can actually still walk around, kind of slowly pre-aiming around corners, keeping an eye level, sort of level shot, and then shooting as soon as you see somebody, and it's going to hit them in the head more accurately. So taking your time is going to be very important with this, and if you want to get those headshots even easier without the worry of messing it up or the bullets not doing enough damage or whatever, go in hardcore. Every gunshot is going to be a one shot, so that is going to guarantee that headshots will immediately happen. Even though one shots are always going to be one shot in any mode, you don't want to be up against people with dodgier weapons than you, because you are using a pistol. Pistols are terrible compared to most of the primary weapons, so you're going to want to be in a mode where everyone's bullets do basically the same one shot. So anyway, that's the military camos. There's 100 of those you're going to do for all 4 of these pistols, so you'll find some weapons will be a little bit easier than others, and then other pistols will be a bit more suckish, but that's kind of just the flow of the camo grind, I'm afraid. First, let's get onto the special camos for the 9mm PM. That's the first pistol you gotta do. And the first special challenge it's gonna ask you to do is to get 15 kills shortly after switching weapons. Now, yes, you will want to switch the weapon shortly, like I'd say 3 seconds before a player comes towards you. So 3 seconds is gonna be the time limit. So you could switch it in 1 second and shoot them, 2, 3 seconds, but any longer than that, it's probably not going to track. I found this was the case with the melees, for example. It's just a bit of a dodgy challenge that doesn't really seem to track really well. So you are going to want to switch within 3 seconds by just literally swapping the gun. Now, this is a kind of annoying one because it basically expects you to have the pistol as a secondary, and some people like me aren't running the pistol as a secondary. When I was grinding these pistols, I was actually using overkill so that way I could use the pistol in the primary slot instead of the secondary slot, which would basically mean that I would have to be switching from my primary to a secondary back to the primary to do this challenge whilst using overkill, which is kind of annoying. But 90% of the time, you guys are going to be switching from whatever primary you've got to a secondary, which is your pistol, at the start of spawning. So if you end up killing someone at spawn, this could actually happen accidentally, but it's just one of those faffy kind of challenges. And then the second special camo is asking you to get 50 eliminations with a suppressor equipped on the 9mm PM, which is easy. There's literally an attachment called the suppressor. You put it on the muzzle and get your kills, so that's going to happen super easily. Next, we have the Xavvo. That's the next pistol we've got to do in this grind, and the first special camo is going to ask you to get 30 hipfire kills, and that is really easy. Just let your gun sit by your hip and shoot people. And if you want to make this even easier, and let's say you've actually gotten the gun to its max level by now whilst doing this challenge, which I'd imagine not many of you have, but if you've been using double XP tokens for your weapon a shit ton whilst doing these base camos, then yeah, you can actually use a Kimbo for this challenge, and that also works because if you didn't know, a Kimbo doesn't allow you to ADS. It only allows you to have 2 guns, which are by default by your hip. So yeah, you can actually use a Kimbo for this. So this is actually going to make it even easier if you're someone who hates using a single pistol by your hip, because yeah, it's not going to have great range and it's not going to have a great amount of damage by your hip. So this actually can be eased with the akimbo attachment, which is in the stock area. For the second special challenge for this gun, it wants you to get 50 eliminations while the Enforcer combat specialty is active. Now, if you don't know, the Enforcer combat specialty is actually selected. It's enabled on your class by having 3 red perks. So having a red perk of any kind in all 3 perk slots on your class setup, that is what's going to enable that. And it's not that you have to wait for something to enable in game that will enable Enforcer's specialty, you know, like a special effect warm-up thing. Like, there's nothing like that you gotta wait for. You just put the red perks on your class and you can get straight into getting kills. As long as it's on your class, this is going to start, you know, tracking the moment you go into a game. So that's the beauty of that challenge. But yeah, so that is the Xavvo's challenges. And then next we have the GS45, and this one's challenges are going to ask you for the very first special camo to get 30 point blank kills. So 30 point blank kills for anybody who's completely new and doesn't really understand the concept of a point blank, or maybe you have been playing for a while and you're still not sure what a point blank is. It just means a very close kill. So somebody having to be on the point end of your gun. As I've explained in other videos, the person can't be like 12 feet away or something like that, which is still pretty close to you. They have to be like up close to your face, which is usually when they're kind of brushing past you and you blast them. That is what gets you a point blank. So you will actually see it pop up on the top of the screen, and you're going to get point blanks much more commonly, much more easily on the very small maps like face-off maps. So that is obviously going to be the easiest way of doing that. And for the second special camo, it's going to ask you to get 15 kills shortly after switching weapons. So again, it's the same thing as I explained before. You're going to have to be switching your gun rapidly and then making sure there's a kill coming around the corner, then get the person. So you do want to be like timing that one a bit more, switching your gun constantly, just clicking Y as like on Xbox, just spamming Y, you know, like it's Fortnite or something, and just hoping that somebody comes around the corner and get a kill. So that one's a bit faffy, but there you go. And then finally, we have the Strider .22, and the very first special challenge you've got to do for this one is to get 50 kills while moving. That is going to literally happen 90% of the time. I swear most people are going to be moving whilst getting their kills in this game because of the fact that it's fast paced and everybody's moving around. But if you actually happen to be not getting very many kills because you're not actually moving whilst getting the kills and you're stopping to get kills, well, something you can actually do is walk around, because this will come in handy if you've been doing it for the headshots already, like I say. But if you're walking around timing your kills, being more strategic, going for the head, then yeah, whilst you're moving, you can actually just ADS, walk around corners and shoot people. If you're moving whilst doing that, it's going to track. That is an easy way of doing it, and obviously you can get hit fire kills, you know, like akimbo kills whilst you're running. You can get them whilst you're sliding into somebody. You can get kills. So there's lots of ways you can be moving and getting these kills. And for the other challenge, it's 50 eliminations while the recon combat specialty is active, and the recon combat specialty is going to be 3 blue perks in all 3 perk slots on your class setup. So that is going to be all of the challenges for these 4 pistols that you have to do for this grind. Honestly, I have to say there was some in here that were just completely rotten. Like, I just hated some of these pistols, and other ones were a little bit more of a breeze. But now we're going to get to ranking these things, and I don't really know how I'm going to do this because some of these are just a little bit more difficult to rank, and considering I've been using them mostly in hardcore, it's kind of actually taken away a lot of the vital information, like, you know, fire rate and damage range or all kinds of stuff like that, because I've just been getting one-shots with all of these. But what I will tell you is, even in hardcore, I've noticed a stark difference between some of these guns and their accuracy and how much damage they're dealing initially, which is kind of weird because you think if it's one shot, the damage difference isn't going to be any different, but there is genuinely a difference, and a lot of it comes down to fire rate and range, and it's really annoying actually. So the first gun I'm going to put, I think, in number 1 place has to be hands down the Xavvo. Like, the Xavvo is a full auto pistol, immediately makes it better than all of the other pistols in here because this shit's just spraying like an SMG, and on top of that, it is very high damage. It feels really fun to use, and you do not see any general kind of inaccuracies whilst using this. It's just a very fast fire rating weapon, which accompanied by a second pistol in akimbo makes it even more deadlier. Now, obviously, if you're going with akimbo, it does take away the range advantage because you can't ADS, but still, it's a very, very good gun, and I would genuinely put this one right at the top. And then the second best is going to be probably the Strider .22, I'm going to say, because this one is still semi-automatic, but it has a very fast fire rate, and it feels kind of good. Now, it does have a low damage range, but it's still pretty damn good, I would say, over the other ones, especially, again, when accompanied by akimbo. And then I think the next is going to be just a tie, maybe, for the 9mm PM and the GS45, or it could be that we just put the 9mm PM in third and the GS45 in last, because I'm pretty sure the GS45 in this was pretty fucking shocking. Like, it was bad, and I really don't know why it was, because the GS45 is supposed to be a Deagle variant, I believe. That's what the GS has been in every other game, though it doesn't really look like a Deagle in this game. It's supposed to be, I guess, but it just feels so bad. Like, it says it has high damage and good range on the description, but you're using this thing in game, and its fire rate is fucking up most of the gunfights. So, I don't know. I'm either tying the GS45 and the 9mm PM, or it's going to be where the 9mm PM just comes slightly above it because of, again, hardcore can make that thing a bit more satisfying to use, but that's probably going to be the ranking that I'm going with for these pistols. Anyway, that is probably one of the worst weapon classes out of the way, and that now leaves us with just the SMGs, like I say, and I'm so stoked to have this camo grind almost done. We're actually not far from Christmas, so to get this done before Christmas would be super cool. But yeah, anyway, that's the pistols again, like I say. Hopefully this video helped you, or, you know, if you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to drop a like. It is greatly appreciated, and leave a comment as well if you want to help with the algorithm. It also pushes the video out to more people, so I do really appreciate those who do choose to leave a comment. And yeah, but other than that, thank you again for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one. Bye, guys.